Chasing your dreams, brother, you gotta be a little delusional. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe in yourself. And when niggas ain't believing in you, bro, you got to, bro, because you got you, bro. No one's gonna work for you. No one's gonna grind for you. No one's gonna, you know what I'm saying, doing it for you. So rely on yourself.
It doesn't feel like it now because it still hurts. The breaking point always feels like the end. Your doubt creeps in, your body gets heavy. The silence gets loud. You question everything, you question your vision, you question your path, you question yourself. No one is cheering, no one is clapping. The work is hard. The path is dark and lonely. You don't see the finish line because it's behind mountains. And you're climbing them now, drained, dirty, doubting. But one more step and the whole view changes. Keep going. You're closer than you think.
Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation. You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things. And that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't do it. And that's where you fail.
I feel like no matter who you are, and how you're living, what world you come from, life is going to challenge you. And I think it's the ability to be able to overcome each one of them challenges with a bespoke strategy each time, which separates the champions from the people that fail. Life is a set of battles. It's a set of fights. And all you can really do is be prepared for them fights when they turn up.
But guess what, baby? Part of life is about getting hurt, about failing and getting back up and dealing with adversity and setbacks and realizing that what you thought was a short path is actually going to be the long path to success, and you're going to have to take that journey if you really want it, right?
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind. They're going to always feel like they're not doing good enough. They're going to always feel like they're not far enough. They're all going to always feel like you're losing. Look, winning, this is how it feels. 90% of the time, you're going to feel like you're getting your balls kicked in, all right? 8% of the time, you're going to be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. And that's the reality of a winner's life.
Do what is meaningful, not what is expedient, because meaning is an instinct. And meaning is the instinct that guides you in life across the totality of life, right? What's expedient, that's what you might want to do right now in an impulsive sense, right? Because you're driven forward by, anger or anxiety or frustration or disappointment or despair, some sort of one-eyed motivational monster that's got you in its grip that really isn't considering everything at once, right? Like considering your life tomorrow or your life next week, or maybe even your well-being half an hour from now. And the instinct for meaning seems to be a consequence of the integration of all of those underlying motivations and emotions with social being, and then the manifestation of something like the proper pathway forward. And you need that because you need to know how to move forward in life.
There is always something you can do differently. And once you understand that you can always make a different choice and get a different reaction, and that's the power in your life, that's the power that you have, is no matter what's going on, you can choose to think differently, believe differently, see differently. All of those things are a choice. Read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. That if you have a why, you can survive almost any how.
I can't afford to quit because I got a family depending on me. I got a world that depends on me. I understand what I'm fighting for. Do you? What you fighting for? What you living for? What you doing it for? For some retweets on Twitter? Are you doing it for something bigger? Are you doing it for legacy? Because regardless, legacy is left. Whether you want to leave it or not, either it's going to be left in the way you don't want to leave it, or it's going to be left in the way you want to leave it. Legacy is left regardless, but you right now have the chance.
Here's the problem I find most people have. They judge themselves through the lens of a moment. They fail at something. They miss the honor club. They don't close that deal they thought they were going to. They embarrass themselves. They flood something. And they think that defines who they are. But I'm telling you right now, you're not defined by who you are. You're defined by who you want to become.
Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you asked God for. You just got to quit tripping while you're in the process.
When you see people bear their suffering nobly, there's nothing in that but good. And then when you see people take on more responsibility and decide that they're going to aim up and confront their suffering honestly and forthrightly, that their lives get better and the lives of people around them get better too. And so that's very strange as well, because it also means that the pathway to less suffering is through suffering.
It is the thing that allows you to go the extra distance, to dig a little deeper, to push a little harder, to get after it. And it actually takes two opposing forces to bring it to life. It takes both emotion and logic to reach your maximum potential, to really give everything you have, to go beyond your limits.
The process is necessary. You may not see it now, but when it gets you on the other side of it, you're gonna see exactly why it went that way. And you're gonna be okay with it.
Adversity causes some cats to break and other cats to break records, based upon what you're made out of.
The most important step we'll ever take in life is our next one. But a lot of us get our feet stuck in concrete. You get our feet stuck in concrete because we're afraid. Because we're afraid to make enemies. We're afraid to speak what's on our mind. All that fear clouds your brain, clouds your thinking. One thing in life, we're gonna always have haters. Embrace them. Learn one thing. Shut the f***ing noise out. Embrace the fact that people don't like you. It means you're doing something right. Stay hard.
Because when you think it's the beginning, you behave differently than the end. The meaning we associate to things controls our entire lives. It's not that your mother or father died that's giving you suffering. Certainly that's painful. It's the meaning you think it shouldn't have happened. And when we take control of the meaning, it's the only thing we can control our lives. We can't control events.
When it just doesn't make any logical sense to go on, that's when you use your emotion, your anger, your frustration, your fear to push further, to push you to say one thing: I don't stop.
Nobody's going to believe in you until you've already done it. Nobody's going to come and celebrate with you until you've already done it. The work is going to come before the belief.
When your feelings are screaming that you have had enough, when you think you are going to break emotionally, override that emotion with concrete logic and willpower that says one thing: fight weak emotions with the power of logic. Fight the weakness of logic with the power of emotion.
I would say that not only you want to stop being scared and do that thing that you don't know if you can do or not, but you know what you got to do is you got to start taking the steps now. Because when you're 18 years old, your life seems like it's gonna last forever. And I will tell you right now, it's not gonna last forever. And those years go by like a summer's day. And the next thing you know, you look up and you're 36 years old, or you're 44 years old. And that time's gone. You cannot get it back. You cannot get time back.
Nothing is going to change if you don't make this change. So how would your life be different if you start choosing the right things? How would your life grow if you let go of the wrong things in your life? So I want to challenge you right now. How would today be different for you? Because let's be real. A lot of us every single day, we choose the wrong things. We choose the wrong people. We choose people's opinions instead of our peace. Life ain't fair to nobody. You just gotta fight through, man. You gotta bite back sometime. So those dreams that you have, those goals that you have, don't put them off another second. Not 1 second. Get on them and go out and make them happen starting right now. We have to always remember our purpose will always be there, but the purpose is myself. Your mind has to be stronger than your feelings. On those bad days, when you think that you're alone, you just might be. Because you know why? No one else wants to fucking do it. So you be the motherfucker that always gets it done. Stay hard. I just want to ask you this question. How would your life be different right now, today in this moment, if you start giving yourself some of those same things that you give everybody else? If you start giving yourself those same compliments that you give everybody else? If you start giving yourself that same grace that you always give everybody else? What if you decide to redirect your energy towards you for once?
Your fuel can never be the pain of what happened in your past. Because if you focus on the pain, when the pain is alleviated, so are all your greatness. You see, your greatness is not based upon the fact that you don't want to hurt again. Your greatness comes out of the fact that you're finally getting to live. You had to go through that in order to make you. And now that you are a made man, a made woman, you have credibility and validity, and you don't need anyone to authenticate you because you are already phenomenal.
So when I created this mantra for myself that average is the enemy, that success is my responsibility, and that change can take place in an instant when you and me decide to flip the switch, I'm constantly reminding myself every single morning that I have control. Like, the opposition wants us to stay average. Our neighbors want us to stay average. Hell, your family wants you to stay average, because when you change, your family fears that change. They don't like the 2.0 version of you. They don't like the evolved version of you. They don't like the version of you that all of a sudden is having higher standards in life and setting higher expectations. They are unfamiliar with that person, and that is scary to them. And so, yes, average is the enemy. And you must fight the momentum of average to break through to extraordinary.
The emptiness in your life isn't because you don't have enough rights. You have all the rights there are. You can get whatever you want whenever you want it. And if that's still not working, well, what are you missing? Well, maybe you're missing the opposite of that. A little bit of restraint, a little bit of sacrifice, some responsibility.
When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, this is what we do. It's what we do now.
When you're complaining, you know what you're doing? You're focusing on everything that's wrong in your life. What you focus on, you move towards.
When you gonna start realizing that, embodying that? When you gonna realize that you are the hero that you've been searching for? It ain't me, it ain't them, it ain't that, it is you. The hero that you're searching for in your story, you have already found. You see that person in the mirror every single day. But when you start choosing joy, when you start choosing peace, when you start choosing you, when you start choosing your work, you start to understand that you are that hero. And now is the moment right now for you to walk into that. And I need you to walk into that because people that you don't even know need you to walk into that. They need you. But you gotta start choosing your worth.
Oh, go after that stuff. What makes it worth it? It's got to be your passion. You got to love it. It's got to be what you are supposed to do. There's so many times in life you don't want to be doing what you're doing. You can't just quit. Remember this. This isn't a hobby. This isn't a joke. It's a lifestyle. So when you say to yourself it's important, there's no coach, there's no trainer to keep you going. It's only you.
Every poor decision you've made in your life, there was more emotion that was involved in it than there was luck.
Quit using the word luck, quit believing in luck, and start believing in work. Start believing in results that come from your actions.
We come into this world alone. We die alone. What we do between those times is success or failure.
Don't rely on a master for him to run your life. This whole journey is about you learn and acquire the skills and acquire the knowledge and acquire whatever you think is necessary to bring out the best version, let's call it like this, the best version, the best refined potential about yourself, about what you believe you are capable of bringing out about yourself. Meaning, the master is already sitting inside of each individual. It's just that we don't nourish that master inside of us enough.
The function of man is to live, not to exist.
Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just try to remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win. Because to become who you want, you have to go through periods you go. You don't learn how to go through hardship without going through hardship. And so if it's hard, good. It means no one else will do it. More for you.
Do you say to someone who's going through a string of bad days, or bad weeks, or bad months?
Say it's okay. You're not alone. I know. You're not alone. This is shit right now, and it's okay. But you're not alone. If you're able to just stick in what you're doing right now, and in those hard times, believing they're going to lead to good times, it just creates a lot less friction in your life. You know, and I think whenever we're going through a hard time, we just want it to end. But it's those moments that allow us to appreciate the good ones.
When you want it now, it drives you crazy to be patient. And I know that's super frustrating. However, that is the rules of the game. It still takes time. Most people will get the feeling how you feel right now, and what they'll say is, I need to do something else. And then what ends up happening by default, they end up spending their whole life in that nether region of nothing because they can't make it through the distance from start to, the upward rise of success. And they see it as something that they're doing wrong, and then they quit to find something new, bro, and they spend their whole life in the struggle. Just keep that in mind, dude. It might be frustrating right now. However, if you continue to go, you're going to figure it out. So, and it sounds like you already know this, dude. You just need to be reminded.
It's funny, man. A lot of you young guys think it's a choice to be great. Bro, it ain't no choice. It's an obligation. You don't only owe this to yourself, bro. You owe it to all the people that believe in you, that have sacrificed for your success. This ain't no choice, bro. The day you were born, you signed a contract. You're right by others, you're right by yourself, and watch the joy that fills your heart. I believe in you, bro. But so do all these other people. It's time for you to believe in you. You owe it to yourself, big dog.
There are a million steps between where you're at now versus like a certain goal that is going to take years to get to. So how I, look at a situation like that is, okay, well, obviously it's going to be a while. I kind of want to be a little more concerned with the short term, right? What do because instead of, okay, what do I have to do for this entire time period to work up to this massive thing and it's much easier to say, okay, what do I have to do today? What are 2 things that I have to do today that will keep me on track?
There's a great Chinese expression, a great old proverb. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
I just keep losing.
I mean, some people just
Supposed to lose? For balance in the universe? I mean, like are there just some people on Earth who supposed to be here just to make it easier for the winners? Like really?
Resistance is a symptom of the way things are, not the way things necessarily should be. Actual victory belongs to things that simply do not see failure. Let the path push you like a broken branch in a river's current.
Well, the problem that most of us have is we think that we're all alone. We think that we're the only ones going through all this stuff. I thought it. Your vision becomes very narrowed. And what happened to me was, all I did was I peeled back. And I was able to get on top of a mountaintop in my head. And when you're high on that mountain, you have a great vantage point. And I was able to look down at the world. And all of us are jacked up. Some of us hide it better than others, but we're all jacked up. And once you realize that, you gotta come out of your shell. You gotta accept who you are. You gotta accept the demons that life gave you, that maybe you gave you. Whoever gave them to you, you gotta accept that. You gotta be able to look them in the mirror, look them in the eye and say, okay, I'm gonna start fixing these things. But if you think that you're by yourself, the reality of your life becomes very, very horrible. And you're not. We are all jacked up. And once you realize that, man, you don't even look at the crowd anymore. You look at your own race, you do your own race, you do your own thing, and you finally find out who you're supposed to be in this life.
If you are struggling to find fulfillment, please watch this. Not everything is going to make sense all the time. Not everything is going to feel right all the time. There is so much uncertainty that comes along with this journey, and we're not even 100% sure where we're going to end up. But that's not the point. If we were certain of these things, if we always performed at our best, if we never struggled, there would be no journey. You must shift your focus back to your process, because your process is your fulfillment. It is your rock, your constant. Stop trying to find fulfillment. Realize that it's yours if you want it.
The person who never needed to be told to do the right thing, to the person who has all the motivation in the world, the person who knows they will be successful. I'm sorry. I know your future ahead is an amazing one, but I also know your problems never had the luxury of relatability. Almost everyone in this world is an obstacle to themselves, but they sure have company in their struggle. While your struggle is a lonely road, you know it pays off. I don't even have to tell you that, but I promise you, I understand. You are relatable to those that'll do big things, and it is okay that that comes in small quantity.
But as you grow, you lose certain homies, because it's called closing the gap. This is the gap when we start. This is the gap as you grow. Notice how you grow and they don't. So how do you close the gap? You gotta come back down. When you come back down, you lose. So you gotta keep going up. That's why closing the gap gotta be them catching up to you. And if they don't catch up, you gotta leave them behind, because you get to the point now where you gotta start cutting out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can't look back when you cut them out. Because if they meant to be there, they're going to be there.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fear. Our presence automatically liberates others.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It can mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It can mean freezing at a park bench. It can mean jail. It can mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, or how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There's no other feeling like that. You'll be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
You can't see the proper light if you have never indulged in the very, very deepest dark times. It's not negative. It's just something that you usually don't want to dive into when something like this appears. But it's part of this life. There is no way to run around. So to embrace the darkness, one and one goes hand in hand with, on the other side, appreciating the light when it comes.
The life you want isn't out of reach. It's just outside your comfort zone. You can't build the life you want if you just keep clinging to the same old patterns. This journey is on you. Sometimes it's going to feel hard, maybe even pointless, but that's where perseverance kicks in. Push through the resistance, one day at a time, and watch what happens when you refuse to give up on yourself.
You may not feel qualified. You don't think you have the talent. The odds are against you. You wouldn't have that opportunity if you weren't already equipped. It's in you, but you have to call it out. You have to start blessing yourself. You'll be tempted to talk about all the reasons why you're not able. It's too big. You don't have the resources. You come from the wrong family. Or don't curse yourself.
Great at. There's lots of hierarchies to attempt to climb, and if you fail in one, go try in another. But the point is, you're still trying to aim for the top, and what the hell are you going to do if you don't try to aim for the top? You know, flap about uselessly and whine about your life? It's not helpful. It'll just make you miserable. You're not reliable to anyone. You can't help out in a crisis. I don't care what you're going to do, but go out there, make something of yourself for God's sake. Be an honest person and work and get to the top of whatever it is that you want to get to the top of. Stand up for yourself like a respectable human being and be a bit of a light on the world instead of a blight.
There's nothing people can say nothing they can do that can keep you from your purpose. Yes, there may be seasons of disrespect where it looks like they're getting the upper hand, but your time is coming. The meal is being prepared. You can trust the faithfulness of God.
Decide to live your fantasy. See, in life, you can go through life, you can come up with reasons or you can come up with results. You can come up with excuses or you can come up with achievements. You can go through life blaming or you can come up with solutions. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. We can choose that.
I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times, if I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No. But if I fail, I try again and again and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's what most people miss out of life. You've got to be willing to risk. If you're not willing to risk, you can't grow in life.
Have a vision of the person you could become, and to reach the pearly gates, as it were, see who you could have been, contrast it with who you actually are, and be disappointed by the gap between them. And I love chasing that. I think it's a beautiful chase. But what I hope you guys will do, if you ever find yourself at the pearly gates disappointed in how much farther you could have gone, to simply ask one question of yourself every day. Did I give it my all today?
If you took on all the responsibility you could take on, and you faced everything that you needed to face, who would you be? And how would the world transform around you?
Wondering why other people are successful is the refuge of losers. It's a loser mentality. It's a loser occupation. It's a loser practice. Because you're wondering why other people are successful. Like, who gives a... You can say you think it sucks, but to spend time wondering why someone is successful and hating on someone being successful, it doesn't do any good.
If your life is a series of, yes, I did, you've won. You've won. Guys, the struggle is guaranteed. The struggle is guaranteed. The struggle is guaranteed. The success is not. And like, the thing that I beg you guys is to have the guts to fail at something that you love. And when you are on the mud, on your face, and people are laughing, the I told you so's are coming out. Do you remember one simple fact? You loved what you were doing, and you left it out on the field. What the f else is there? What the f else is there? What more can you ask of yourself than to really try, to really say, I give a shit about this? That's the life to live. That's the life. Like, to say, I care about this, it matters. It gives me purpose. I'm gonna fight for this. This is a group of people I wanna serve.
And it turns out that if you face things, that you can put up with a lot more than you think you can put up with, and you can do it without becoming corrupted.
You can also find every excuse as to why you won't make it. You can find every reason, if you look for it, as to why you won't make it. But at the end of the day, there's going to be two groups of people. And one group is going to be a lot fucking bigger than the other. The one group is going to get told that they can't do it. And instead of fighting, and instead of working, and instead of, saying, well, Dad, I'm not willing to accept that, those people are going to just take it. And that's what society's counting on. Society is counting on you giving up. Then there's going to be a smaller group. And the smaller group is going to be the group that says, hey, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I'm not willing to accept that. I'm not willing to just roll over and take what I'm given. I'm not willing to stop trying because you say that I can't fucking do it. That's what you say. That doesn't mean it's the truth.
And I'm gonna go all the way out every day. And look, you're not gonna hit it every day. There's gonna be days where you're off. There's gonna be days where you're weak. But if that day, instead of bullshitting yourself, instead of saying I wasn't weak today, what are you talking about? If that day you own it and you say, yeah, I was weak today and I'm not gonna be weak tomorrow, but I'm not afraid to face that. I'm not afraid to look in the mirror and say today was a bad day, that I didn't make myself proud today, but that shouldn't diminish who you are.
Do you know what happens the minute you were born? You start to fucking die. And as you grow up, time and gravity and the elements put a stress on your system. And every day that you get up, there are forces working to wear you out. This is just called life. We have to constantly battle against the breakdown of our own strength, our own energy, and our own mental capacity. And you know what I'm trying to say by telling you this? I'm trying to tell you that being tired is part of the fucking game. Okay? So it's not a valid excuse. It's normal. It's a constant. It's part of being human. And if you want to be a high achiever, guess what? You're gonna have to acclimate yourself to being fucking tired way more than you're not tired.
Just imagine yourself from a year from now. Hey, the future you from a year from now. And you just made these simple choice shifts, as I call them. You start choosing your peace. You start choosing your joy. You start choosing you. You start choosing your worth. Above everything, everything else will fall into place. Because the greatest feeling in the world, God, the greatest feeling in the world is execution. The greatest feeling in the world is doing what you said you were going to do. There's no greater feeling in the world.
Successful people understand this, guys. Successful people do not use tired as an excuse. In fact, they understand that if they push through the tired, everybody else stops when they're tired. And so by pushing through the tired, you actually create a gap between you and everybody else that you're competing with. And here's another thing that happens when you're tired. Because no one else ever pushes through when they're tired, and because you're someone that always pushes through when you're tired, you learn this unique skill set that allows you to operate at a high level when you're tired.
So what that you come from a small town? So what that you come from a small school? So what that you came and got your degree from a place that no one's heard of? They didn't need to know about the college, they needed to know about you. They needed to listen and hear the lessons that are embedded inside of you because of what you've gone through. There are people that have roamed the earth the rest of their lives, being confident and comfortable with being average, but that's not you.
We don't rise to our ambitions, we fall to our standards. So you don't have what you want, you have what you are willing to accept. The key to life is not necessarily to just raise your ambitions, it's to raise your standards. What you need to do is set higher standards for yourself and refuse to bend. Force life to bend to your will, and you do that by raising your standards. It's the ultimate key to success.
Jim Rohn used to have this phrase, he said, success leaves clues. He said, if there's anything you want in your life, don't assume that somebody has some special gift. They may have a gift, but they probably developed most of it. And if you sow the same seeds, you'll reap the same reward.
You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be just good enough. You weren't born to just be above average. You were born to be unique and to be amazing. You were born to be something so significant that when the day comes for you to die, there's mourning that happens all over the earth. You see, there is something inside of you, a gift, but it's only a gift when you're willing to give it away.
Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is, and that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble, and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing, and that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. So build a life. Don't live one, build one.
Be the damn disruptor. Stop talking about the same things that happened to you. Stop talking about that person that did you wrong, okay? They moved on what they like. That was a part of your story. That was a chapter. You have more to be written. You still got breath in your body. You can do something about it. You can turn that situation that was supposed to break you to build you, I promise you. But you gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself.
You might want something. You might want a better life. You might want to have a fit and athletic body. You might want to have a better relationship. You might want to start making more money and win your financial freedom. You might want to have better self-control, self-mastery. You might want to have greater confidence. Whatever those things you want, they're on the other side of the enough is enough moment that you must have.
Saying that everything great that you've ever looked at in your entire life is built by tired people. But if you want to be one of the great people that builds amazing things, you're going to have to do so tired as well. That is the way it works. Are you tired? Are you tired right now? I bet you are a little tired. That's normal. But guess what you can do? You can still act, you can still execute, you can still work, and you can still be successful.
But they're normal people that knew they needed to make a change. And they decided they were going to make a change, and then they made it. And that is what I do. And that is what you can do too. If you have something to change, if you want to change something, change it. Change it now.
Person who has purpose in their life. They have something to go for, some meaning. One writer described it, for some people it becomes a magnificent obsession. But it has to be something that does something to us, something that pulls us, especially into the future. You know, there are many influences on this. One is the influence of the past. Some people are always pulled back by the past. Some people are always pulled aside by the distractions. But here's what's powerful. If you have a list of high purpose in your life, it pulls you toward the future. And the more powerful the purpose is, the stronger it pulls.
See, we want to grow, but we want to stay liked by everybody. I was willing to be my own rescue at the risk of your approval. But most of us aren't like that. We want to be liked. Well, I woke up and I like myself today, so your like is extra. My job is to like me first. I was willing to say every day, Lisa, you like you? Lisa, are you proud of you? Lisa, are you playing full out? Every day before I checked in with anybody else.
Everything is happening to you as God is processing. Every difficult moment you're having, He's just processing it. Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then He gonna toughen you. He gonna let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in you.
It's a big difference between a hard worker and somebody that works hard. Right? Most cats are somebody that works hard. If the situation and the circumstance is what they want it to be, they gonna come out and they gonna act accordingly and they gonna give you everything they got. But a hard worker, regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what happened, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna give everything I got to it because I'm working for something that's totally different. Like, the question becomes this: can you be committed to the process of what you're doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what you hear? In other words, if you don't get what you thought you was gonna get, will you still be the same individual?
It's not that life is better than you think. Life is as harsh as you think. It might even be worse, but you are way tougher than you think if you turn around and confront it.
Everybody's got a dream. Everybody's got a goal. What's the plan? But when you're trying to do something that you're truly passionate about, there is no plan B.
When it doesn't make sense, logical sense to go on, that's when you gotta use your emotion. That's when you gotta use that anger and that frustration, that fear to push yourself longer, to push yourself to say, I don't stop. You gotta override that emotion with the concrete logic and willpower. You fight the weak emotions with the power of logic, and you fight the weakness of logic with the power of emotions.
You can't be comfortable with yourself if you don't know who yourself is. And you can't know who yourself is if you don't stop looking at how everybody around you is and start looking at what makes you comfortable and what makes you uniquely you. There's roughly close to, I guess, about 8 billion people on this planet, but there's only one you.
That you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time. And everyone wants that all the time. Like, images of paradise are representations of that state of being. So it's there for you, but there are preconditions that you strive to aim at the best. And that has to be your fundamental ethos. And it's a decision that, despite all of the calamities of being, that your primary ethical obligation is to work for the betterment of yourself and others.
The fact is, death is inescapable. There is no way out. And in that death is part of life. And like the contrast between the darkness and the light, without death, then there is no life. And the people that I've lost, they taught me that. They taught me how precious life is, how blessed we are to have every day to learn and to grow and to laugh and to live.
You've got to dream. Don't lose your dreams. For yourself, for your future, for your family. The dreams of love and enterprise and travel and doing things. Becoming something unique on your journey here. Don't lose your dreams. Do some dreaming.
You'll not find confidence in yourself if you don't know who yourself is. You won't find confidence in yourself if you're so busy trying to figure out what everybody around you thinks you ought to be and then match that, because you're not going to make people around you happy. You're not going to, okay? So you need to be you.
To live every day with purpose and with passion. To wake up in the morning and be thankful
thankful for that morning and thankful for the opportunity to go out into the world and live. And live for them. For those that don't have the opportunity, for those that were stolen away by death's cruel hand.
So what is possible and what is not possible is not your business. That is nature's business. Nature will decide that. You just see what is it that you really want and strive for that. And if your thought is created in a powerful way, without any negativity, without any negative thoughts bringing down the intensity of the thought process, the first and foremost thing is you must be clear what is it that you really want. If you do not know what you want, the question of creating it doesn't arise. If you look at what you really want, what every human being wants is, he wants to live joyfully, he wants to live peacefully. In terms of its relationships, he wants it to be loving and affectionate. Or in other words, all that any human being is seeking for is pleasantness within himself, pleasantness around him.
But let's not dwell. Instead, let's laugh and let's love and let's embrace and cherish everything that life is and every opportunity it gives us.
It's your unlimited desires that are clouding your peace, your happiness. Every desire you have is an access where you will suffer. So just don't focus on more than one desire at a time. The universe is rigged in such a way that if you just want one thing and you focus on that, you'll get it. But everything else, you gotta let go.
That life is meaningless. It was not a flippant assertion. I think it's absurd, the idea of seeking meaning in the set of circumstances that happens to exist after 13.8 billion years worth of unguided events. Leave it to humans to think the universe has a purpose for them. However, I am no nihilist. I'm not even a cynic. I am actually rather romantic. And here's my idea of romance. Life will sometimes seem long and tough, and God, it's tiring. And you will sometimes be happy and sometimes sad, and then you'll be old, and then you'll be dead. There is only one sensible thing to do with this empty existence, and that is fill it. Fill it. And in my opinion, until I change it, life is best filled by learning as much as you can about as much as you can, taking pride in whatever you're doing, having compassion, sharing ideas, running, being enthusiastic. And then there's love and travel and wine and art and kids and giving and mountain climbing, but you know all that stuff already. It's an incredibly exciting thing, this one meaningless life of yours.
The fire of motivation, the fire of trying to achieve something for a better version of yourself, is something that if you practice it long enough, you can recall it. Because you have that fire inside of you. Strong mind goes together with strong body. I think there is a similarity with it, because you cannot reach to have a strong body if there is not the fuel behind it that gave you the push, the motivation to do so in order that you finally develop in that direction.
If you're struggling right now and you're having a hard time and you're pissed off and you're frustrated, know two things. One, you're not alone. Two, this is necessary for you to get where you want to go. And if you quit, if you falter, if you stop, all the pain will be for nothing. And we need to remember that.
When it feels scary to jump in, that is exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life, and that I can't do.
If there is something that you can, to 100%, adjust and control in this life, it can only be yourself. If there is something which is 100% in your control, it must be yourself. What else should it be? And so, if you think there is a possibility to master something, to take responsibility of something, then I think it must be related first of all to your being.
Short-term thinking says one workout doesn't matter. I can skip it. Short-term thinking encourages you to make short-term emotional decisions that hurt you in the long run. The further from the path you will stray.
Decide to live your fantasy. See, in life, you can go through life, you can come up with reasons or you can come up with results. You can come up with excuses or you can come up with achievements. You can go through life blaming or you can come up with solutions. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. We can choose that.
People want to know how to stop the laziness, and they want to know how to stop the procrastination. And, they have some idea in their head, some kind of a vision, what they want to do.
But they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start it, They don't know where to start. And so they say, hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now.
You say you want to be great, let your actions, let your words display that. If you say you really want to be elite, let your actions and let your words display that. Right? You can't be a common man and do uncommon things. That's uncommon. That's an uncommon mentality. That's an uncommon spirit. That's an uncommon disposition. Don't act me for mine. No, we not. Every single day, do you dominate in what you do?
You got to come out your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is the deadliest place you will ever be. You should never feel comfortable. You should be happy and dissatisfied.
Masters make the hardest things in the world look easiest, and in the moments where you push yourself, when no one else is around, those moments have a tendency to lead to success.
As we begin to look at what we want, as we begin to look toward the future, what's going to be crucial for you is every time you find yourself saying that you can't do something, you've got to affirm to yourself, hey, no, I can make it. This can happen for me. You've got powers within you, talents within you that you haven't even reached for yet. Now, whatever goal you have, here's what we know. You're going to have some opposition. You're going to have some difficulties. You're going to have some challenges. Long journey, long dark night. But when you hold on to your dream, don't let anybody kill it in you. Just hold on to that tree when it doesn't make sense to anybody, including you sometimes. Just hold on. Once you give yourself an opportunity to try and to just stretch, you'll find out you can do more than you could ever begin to imagine.
What are your goals? Is it to get the goals? You get the goal. How would you have gotten the goal? And after you achieved it, went, is this all there is? That's worse than failing, isn't it? Because most of you, if you fail, you're driven, right? You'll dust yourself up, get up, and go for it again. You're going to get there. So I want you to understand something. The purpose of life is not to get your goals. The purpose of life is who you become to achieve your goals.
Stop doing the things that you know are wrong, that you could stop doing.
But we will presume that there are things that you're doing that for one reason or another you know are not in your best interests. There's something about them that you just know you should stop. They're kind of self-evident to you. Other things you're going to be doubtful about. You're not going to know which way is up and which way is down. But there are things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't do. But there's another subset that you could stop doing. It might be a little thing. Well, that's fine. Stop doing it. You see what happened.
And every day you fight not wanting to get up, and you do anyway. You chip another piece off that rock. And every day you can eat the right foods. And every day you go to train, you train harder and harder and harder and harder. And you get up earlier. And all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're chipping another fucking piece of that rock up. Before you know it, you get this beautiful fucking piece of artwork that you built.